All right. Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Want to make sure everybody's getting me pretty good here. I think they are. All right. Well, I hope everybody's doing all right. I fixed my technical problems, so I'm back online with you here, and hopefully we can just sit and BS for a minute. As a lot of y'all know, there's a whole lot of things going on in the world. I'm really just curious to find out what everybody's thoughts are on it. I got my own thoughts, as y'all do. But I'd like to hear what you have to say. What's up? What's up, Omar? No worries. You doing all right, buddy? I ain't seen you in a long time. Hope everything's going okay. Well, here in North Carolina, I find myself that I can't take my eyes off the television. I want any of the families or friends of the Marine Corps and the Marines that were killed in the suicide bombing to know that I can't stop thinking about it. It makes my chest hot, as I'm sure it probably does for all of y'all. And I'm just curious to what's been going on with you guys. What are your thoughts on it? And I've seen a whole lot of different takes. Some saying that, we just need to send troops back in there. Some saying we need to drop the hammer. And I'm really not sure. I'm not sure. We were over there a long time. And I think, Taliban may be getting a taste of what it's like dealing with ISIS, which is interesting. But I'm curious to see what happens over the next couple of days. I really am. So I hope all you guys are out there doing all right. All right, well, I'm glad you're busy, buddy. I'm glad everything's going okay. Let's see what's going on. I just tuned in to see, they said there's a new threat of another possible attack. I hope that hadn't happened yet, and I hope that intel's on top of it, and we can put some hammers on it before it starts happening. Having been in the Army, or just probably for all of us being in the military, it's difficult to watch these things going down and not be in the know. I'm curious about the process that's happened. I'm curious about the cordon that's been put out. I'm curious about soldiers standing 10 feet away from the Taliban. They've been fighting for 20 years. I'm curious about a whole lot of things. So I guess it'll all, it is hard to watch, Holly, but I guess it will all unfold, and we'll just have to watch it from here. I did post a story about some veterans getting together with this operation, the Pineapple Express, getting people out of there. And that takes a set of cojones right there, and I have a lot of respect for you. They got a website on there I posted up that can help fund them a little bit. I threw them some money just to help, just to hopefully make sure that money gets to them and takes care of them on site. I really do. I'm curious to see whether or not we extend our time there. I know the Taliban says they don't want us there. Well, then help us get everybody out, fellas. Push that cordon back and throw a hand in there. What? I mean, the U.S. has said they're rolling out, but it ain't easy. So, I don't know. Yeah, imagine the Taliban probably isn't. They probably are about to find out. And I hope they don't just come to some type of settlement that ends up putting training bases all in Afghanistan, which is one of the main reasons we went into there in the very beginning. So I hope we don't get back to that point, for sure. What else is going on? I mean, it's hard to think about anything else that's going on. It just weighs on my mind. It weighs on my mind. I wish I knew some of my friends that were there working as contractors are all gone. So I am glad that they're out of there, but there's a whole lot of people still on site. A whole lot of 3rd ID, 82nd, Marine Corps, a lot of those guys. And I can't stop scrolling through the pictures. But I have to trust the discretion of the commanders on the ground. I've read articles that say both that we need to put more troops on the ground and that we need the amount, 5,000, is enough to handle this operation. And the easy thing to say is, well, we need 20,000 of them out there. Well, you put 20,000 Joes on the ground, you still got to get 20,000 Joes out of there in a couple days. Like, we don't need to add to the head count, but we also need to shore up security. It's a slippery slope. It's a real slippery slope. Well, I got a couple of people on here chiming in. Hey, if you're on here and you're watching, let me know who you are, where you are, and what your thoughts are on it. Yeah, I think I agree with you, Omar. I really do agree with you. I think Taliban's probably going to find out. Find out what it's like if you have a different mindset about everything. They're going to see. They're going to see. Can you imagine the level of tension sitting there in those crowds for those Joes out there having to do that? Not only now that we have a valid threat of ISIS taking advantage of a target of opportunity, but you're 10 feet away from the cats you've been fighting for 20 years, face to face with these dudes. And I'm curious to know if in history there has been that kind of situation. Because if you think about Japan and Germany, both of those times we were sitting on top of the roost. Never for America that I know of, and feel free to chime in and say, well, what about this? I'd love to hear about it. But I know, like, even in Vietnam, as we were evacuating troops out of there, we weren't standing 10 feet away from the Viet Cong as we were getting them out. So I don't know if historically, if there's anything you can even bounce it off of. But, well, as this all goes down, I hope y'all have a good weekend, if nothing else, For all the guys that can't do it over there, enjoy your weekend, spend some time with your families. Maybe look at some of these sites and maybe lend a hand financially if you're capable. If not, at least let them know that you're thinking about them. And all the civilians that are left over there, that's a whole other deal. The one curious thing I'm thinking about, they said they had the American students that were trapped over there. Now, from what I read, the students were actually Afghan refugees that got American citizenship, if I understand right, and went back to visit family. Well, that's a pretty piss poor timing. I'm really surprised it never crossed anybody's mind, recognizing we're coming up to the withdrawal date, that this might be an issue. So it's kind of like when you see online, you see these, young couple decides to walk across the mountains of Iraq and Iran and end up getting their heads popped off because they believed everybody's good. Well, let me tell you, the vast majority of people a lot of the world pretty much sucks, And I don't really trust anybody east of Wilmington, North Carolina. I don't know. I'd like to sit here and tell you I have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. Yeah, Josh says rather send all the combat vets. Lord, no, there's plenty of combat vets probably standing by right now, with hot chests and just being nothing but irritated watching it. Can you only imagine the mental health issues of watching all that time spent over there and then it just crumbling and putting our own Joes and allies? It's not an easy thing to deal with. So I don't know if you can just surge back over there, Josh. I don't know if we can just, flow right back in. I think the U.S., the military's got the capability to put boots on the ground, really anywhere in the world, quickly and efficiently. Getting them back out again, like you can jump into a drop zone, you can't jump out. Like you can air mobile out, but you ain't jumping out of a drop zone. So I don't know how to get, if we dropped a couple battalions out of the 82nd in there to shore up security, them boys still got to go. Oh, check it out. The Google car just drove by my house. Man, maybe I shouldn't have been sitting here naked. I don't know. That's just me. And I got my phone going off. I apologize. Josh says you were there in 2012. Well, first, thank you for your service, of course. What were your thoughts? Like, give me some of your input. And I'll be honest, I wasn't in Afghanistan. I was only in Iraq. So I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. Did you feel like we were making progress? Did you feel like we were going to be able to leave there efficiently and safely? Because it's a debacle. And let me be very clear before we go on any farther. I don't want anybody assuming that I'm blaming this or any other of our administrations for this problem. I blame it collectively because you have got to, when you make a decision to put Joes on the ground, have a legitimate plan about withdrawing said Joes. And I don't know if we had that plan. I think we've pretty much taken a look at Iraq and the weapons of mass destruction. I understand we went in there under the guise of weapons of mass destruction. I make no doubt. Saddam was a turd. I mean, I don't think anybody's arguing that dude was a bad guy. But we had to have a plan to leave. And I just don't feel like they thought about it. That's crazy, man. Every time that you had a meeting with Afghan leaders, new bad things would happen when you left. Yeah. I think as Americans, sometimes we're naive in thinking that culturally we can plug and play the way we think and operate into any place in the world. And I don't think it takes long when you're in the ground or you're in another country to realize that what works for us doesn't always work for everybody else. The casual lying, tribal concept, lack of democracy. I mean, there's about 1,000 things, religious, cultural reasons. There are 1,000 reasons why we can't plug and play America into anywhere in the world. And I was talking with my brother today, and like it makes you wonder, is if we were the tip of the spear and we were the protecting shield for the world, attempting to, provide everybody with freedoms and security around the world, well, we did it and have done it for a very long time. I don't know if it's sustainable, which is a crazy thing to say because I always thought we could be there and we could square things away, and now I just don't know. Holly says Trump had a nice stronghold on Afghanistan. I mean, we were certainly in a stalemate, for lack of a better term. It doesn't mean Joes weren't dying, but we were in somewhat of a stalemate, just trying to figure out what's going to happen. And historically speaking, the Taliban's dug in like a summer tick and have been since the Russians were there. So they didn't care. It's not like they were just biding their time waiting for us to roll. It was a war of attrition for them. And I read another article that said with the Afghan army folding in 11 days, that the big part of that is they were a for-hire bunch. Think about all of us that we all decided to go, I'm going to join the military. And there were all kinds of different reasons. But the bottom line is we decided to do it for one reason or another. And I get teased a lot by my buddies saying, for me, I joined in 88. So it was like we're straight out of Red Dawn, Russians are the bad guys. It was all very simple. But when you're there just cutting a paycheck and you start taking fire and you're not real committed to the mission anyway, I guess I could see how the whole thing folded. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. The misinformation's interesting. I did watch with the president. I didn't get a real warm fuzzy about the president's speech yesterday, to be honest. And I'm not going to get into who I like and who I don't like. But I agree that the president is making decisions from his command staff, boots on the ground, through the Pentagon and the defense secretary. You can blame it on Biden if you want to, but really the reach of what he has is not that much any more than what Trump had. You have to go off what the leadership on the ground is telling you. Douglas says coin doesn't work. Well, yep, I agree with you because we went through the coin. We worked with coin operations. Worked with multiple countries in coin training while over in Germany. And I'm not sure coin works either. It was a theory. We put it into practice. And I'm not sure it works. And it certainly didn't work against the Taliban. It might have been more successful in Iraq. But it certainly didn't work with the Taliban. From what I've seen. So if you disagree with me, that's fine. And again, as a disclaimer, asterisk in the bottom, we can disagree in this forum. I don't get butthurt. I can just say, I don't agree with you, and that's fine. Doesn't mean I hate you. Okay? That's one problem with everything here today is everybody like hops on one side of the fence or the other, then hates the other side. Which irritates the piss out of me. Well, Douglas, we tried grabbing by their throats and balls. You know what they did? They rolled up and put up a perimeter in the mountains of Afghanistan. And waited us out, quite honestly. As a defensive measure, waited us out. And really, in a war of attrition, if you can handle it, if they've got the pipeline, you can stay there a real long time. Even if you look historically, look at people that could just buckle up and dig in. I mean, you can probably take it all the way back and just to the stuff I've studied, even back to the Civil War. In the Civil War, we thought, initially the South was like they're just going to hold their own and hold off the North. But then tactics change. You start making advantages. It's much harder to move on the offense than it is to dig in the defense. I mean, look at the movie 300. And I know it was all 10 kinds of Hollywood, but it's based on situations where they use terrain, avenues of approach, in a defendable position to their advantage. You're welcome, Doug. You're welcome, man. And the big thing about this is I wanted to sit and just BS with you all a while, because I'm sure there's a whole lot of us sitting at the house just fuming. Fuming less. And I'm not talking about fuming. I'm not fuming about anybody and the decisions they're made. I'm not fuming about the decision to go into Afghanistan initially. What's up, DM? I'm not fuming about either one of the administrations and the things they did, because at this point, this war has run through both Republican and Democrat administrations. If anything, I just have to look at the leadership at the top. It's real easy to sit in air conditioning, taking a nice lunch and making decisions that ends up being our buddy's ass on the ground. It's much easier. It's not real. It's not real till you feel the heat and the sweat and you lose some friends and you go through the process and you leave your family. And I think that the political establishment in D.C. in itself is too separate from that. It's not real to them. My thoughts. Make it like in Germany or South Korea. I don't know. Maybe I should have looked at more of the geography. Can we just throw up a wall like Germany did? Afghans, you can have the mountains, and everybody else, I don't know, you can have the low area. I don't know. Honestly, I don't think it'll work, because then the Afghans Taliban just sit up on top and just launch mortars and artillery into the lowlands. But I don't know, man. I don't know. And I'll be honest, even with the DMZ, Korea, I don't know if I can call Korea a huge success. I mean, a lot of people lost their lives in Korea just to move back to 38th parallel, build some big, nice houses, go in big bunkers and stuff, underground areas, have a DMZ patrol, and then you can look across at the bad guys. And we hadn't done any, and then we've all sat there. I mean, how many friends do you have that at some point have humped the DMZ? I got levied to Korea. The only reason I didn't have to go is because I was in a LURS unit. They waived it. What's up, Stock? Good to see you, Bo. Oh, Riley, what's up, my man? Without getting on to it, I hope you're doing all right. Been thinking a lot about you guys. Hopefully we'll be seeing you sooner than later. Hope. It's funny as I'm sitting here talking to y'all, I can just listen to my dog trying to tear stuff up in the other room. Hey! He's got his own mind. Doesn't care much about what I say. Well, my man Underwood, man, it's interesting when I've got guys like Stock and Underwood who are from my very early Army days in my LURS unit, and then I got like some of my buddies from later on, like O'Reilly on here. It's good to see everybody and friends we made ever since, so it's crazy. It's good to be able to BS with y'all. I wish we could do this where we could all be on like a Zoom call so I could see you shining mugs. I tried doing a collective Zoom call a couple times, but nobody ever hops on. I sit there with my D in my hand. So we can figure out how to get everybody together. It'd be kind of cool just to have some conversations that way. Like a TED Talk. Top Talk. Tune in tonight for Top Talk, while we go over some of the greatest poetry ever written in a porta-john in the Middle East. Stay tuned. That'd be amazing. Cody Shuff. Cody Shuff's has been irritated at things since he was a small baby. Shuff probably woke up one morning as a baby and was like, man, why do I only got 2 nipples to choose from? I want 4 nipples. That's why you're always mad, Shuff. But you're my man. You're my man. X-rated TED Talk. Today on TED Talk, we got Don Stock. And if you follow Stock, you can see he puts all kinds of angry stuff up on his Facebook site. Oh. I gotta answer this message right here. Hold on 1 second. Get a phone call. I gotta call it back, but I'm not ready to go. Not ready to go away from you guys yet. Speak among yourselves. All right. Mark Rose. See, that's what I'm saying. Doug, I'm saying a BYOB, get your first drinks. Hey, I want to see what y'all drinking. All right? And, what's up, man? What's up, Brand, up in South Dakota? Lord have mercy, I hope it's cooler than it is down here. It's about 11 degrees down here. Ah, see, stuff's down there in Louisiana when y'all catch hurricanes like the Red Sox do fastballs. Feel for you guys. You've been a serious hurricane trap down there on the Gulf Coast for the past couple years. You need to pack it up. Bring your Couchon Doulet and all your friends and family and your crawfish up to North Carolina. Move up into the foothills. It's God's country. It's all better. Ripple and Yak with Chris Cannon. Yeah, maybe I'll try and plan that. I think I'm going to do a Zoom call. How many of you guys would tune in for a Zoom call? If you listen to this later, just say I would. Maybe I need to just say, look, there's going to be a Zoom call Thursday evening at 7 o'clock or something like that, and give you like some time so, you know, you can go get your favorite liquor drink or your beer, whatever else you feel like you need to get, and tune in with me just so we can BS some, because I can come in as a cartoon on these Zoom calls now. And if you want, I can get my man Josh to come in too. He's devilishly handsome, and y'all take a look at it. But I can definitely come in as a cartoon. It'd be fun just to BS with you. What's up, Michael, over there in Texas? Which Texas? East Texas where there's green? West Texas where you fart dust? North Texas you get snow. South Texas, well, there's all kinds of problems in South Texas. Good copy on the Zoom. All right, there's a lot of people on here saying they might do that. I might try that. Maybe I'll try that next week. I'm going to be rolling out of town this weekend, but maybe I'll try that next week. All right, well, we got anything to add? Y'all got any topics you want to talk about? I still got 8 minutes. I'm planning on staying here about 30 minutes. You can just listen to me ramble off things to myself. It's Friday. I know y'all don't like it, but some of y'all don't like it, but we got some football on. Oh, come on. I know you can find somebody to teach you how to use Zoom. Riley can make coffee out of 2 pine cones and some dental floss and dirt at JRTC. I'm sure you can get somebody to teach you how to use Zoom. Navy EOD is still sexier than me. Well, I don't think at any point I've ever considered myself sexy. But thank you for the compliment, I think. Yeah, Holly, of course civilians allowed. You can always chime in. I like getting people's input. All branches, too. Yeah, everybody make sure you check on their buddies. Lawn darts. Whatever happened to the lawn dart? Did they turn it into like some type of flat thing? And how'd they get away with it that long? I remember looking at lawn darts when it was still in the store. Raise your hand if you've ever shot a bow and arrow straight up in the air and then run for cover. I don't know what the casualty rate is on that bad boy, because I've done it. Or had BB gun fights and not worn any face covering. What's up, Barry? It's going good, buddy. Hope you're doing all right. Yeah, like Doug said, make sure you check on your buddies. Make sure they're not getting irate and sitting in their basement drinking a fifth of Jack and just cleaning their weapons and reloading magazines. Oh, this kind of stuff will get you going. And I don't want to talk about being triggered like I got triggered because you said something mean to me. I mean triggered like I'm about ready to start stacking bodies. So check on your buddies. We don't need any of that. And we don't need people hurting themselves. And that's really one of my biggest concerns. Oh, yeah, my boy. Man, that's all right, dude. If y'all need anybody, if you're in North Carolina, you need somebody to play taps, you need to get with my boy Carpenter here. His son, always playing, does a great job. He's got some videos up. You ought to go check him out. What's up, Jake Hall? Yep, see? Riley's played that shoot the bow and arrow up in the air. It's good times. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's not a broad. You can use a broad head or a regular one. By the time that bad boy's coming down, you're gonna be a bind if it plants in your melon. For sure. I'm trying to think what other dumb things we used to do like that were a lot of fun. Roman candle wars. You can't have a good Roman candle war anymore without the police getting called. Unless you're like my boy Shane Connor did. We had a Roman candle war, and he ended up catching this whole field on fire. That's probably why they won't let us go. Oh, Brandon's out there doing some shopping. Well, post some pics up, Brandon. Let's see. Yeah, BB gun wars. It's always the best of times. All right, guys. An M80 in the mailbox. That's a federal offense, Briggs. You're going to be in the first sergeant's office. Well, yeah, I would say a mortar is always more effective. I was a Charlie for a while. Sandbag Frisbee, a buddy of mine, retired First Sergeant Tom Thornton, once grabbed a giant cow turd from out there at Fort Polk, as hard as a rock, and threw it at me like it was in the Olympics in a discus. What he didn't know is the inside of it was soft and wet, and it hit the back of my neck and poured down the back of my BDUs with a bunch of horse shit. Now, if you know Thornton, he's a lot bigger than me. But if I'd have caught his ass, I was going to split his wig with my helmet, but it was a good time. I've never had a pepper spray war. However, I did work security in multiple riots in Charlotte over the past year, starting with the DNC in 12, and then some of the other riots, and I got enough of the pepper spray to last me the rest of my life. That was good times. Cow patty Frisbee. It's up and coming. All right, guys, well, I'm going to log off. Hey, y'all have a good weekend. Safety briefing. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. If you can drink, don't drive. If you can drive, don't drink. Don't take no life. Don't bring on no life. Don't eat a bunch of sandwiches or go swimming in cold water. All right? If you met her at the night heat and you think you're going to marry her, just wait a day. Wait a day before you make that hardcore decision. And all of y'all who are not here and you're overseas, take care of yourselves. Think about y'all all the time. And hopefully we'll be having a beer soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's good seeing everybody. Feel free to message me after this. If I can do anything for you, holler. All right, Cow Patty Top out. Y'all have a good one. We'll talk to y'all later.